Hey, Eagle fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Welcome into Philadelphia Eagles Now. Today, we have a lot of Eagle mailbag questions to go ahead and get into. Our subscribers here in the channel were asking a ton on my last video a couple of days ago. Post-draft, haven't done a mailbag. Let's go ahead and jump into some here. David Moore says, do you think Coach Nick will be a good play caller this year? I know a lot of people question Coach Peterson's play calling. What do you think? I think Sirianni was hired for his play calling, honestly. I think when you come down to the nitty-gritty, he was hired because, one, he's an offensive-minded guy, obviously being an offensive coordinator, and two, because the play calling, for better or for worse, in Indianapolis was pretty darn good. I think Philadelphia wanted somebody who has a little more creativity than Doug Peterson. You mentioned it. He was questioned a lot, Doug Peterson was, during his time here. I thought he was fantastic in 2017, and then some of the play calls didn't look too great the past couple of years. And I was a big Doug Peterson fan that I got wrongfully fired. I think Howie Roseman is the real problem in Philadelphia, but I think Sirianni comes in here with a fresh look at the offense and a lot of fresh pieces. And I think his job now is to scheme for Miles Sanders and scheme for Boston Scott and Kenny Gainwell and scheme for Dallas Goedert and maybe Zach Ertz and scheme for Devonta Smith and Jalen Reagor. Like, they have pieces now. And you go back to a couple of years ago when they had all the injuries and Doug Peterson, maybe the play calling was because they didn't have any pieces and you're running Greg Ward there as your number one wide receiver and Boston Scott as your number one running back. I mean, maybe now with these pieces we could see some real genius offensive play calling to the likes of which you see in San Francisco and of course in Tampa Bay and all the other great offensive systems we see in the National Football League right now. So I think he will be a good play caller. I think he has to be a good play caller. We're always going to question him because we're Philadelphia Eagle fans, and if he makes a mistake, we're going to call him out on it. But I do think that he was hired for the play calling and that the play calling is going to be his real bread and butter here, really the offense as a whole, which of course is what Philadelphia needs based on what we've seen the past couple of years. What's your confidence level in Nick Sirianni going into this NFL season? Scale of 1 to 10. If you have a pinned comment down below, let me know what you guys think in terms of the confidence level. I'm optimistic. I'm at like a 7 right now. I'm not at a 10. I don't think you hired the next great, for sure, guaranteed offensive mind in the National Football League. That's the hope is you're getting Kyle Shanahan, right? Or maybe the Rams head coach. The hope is that he's going to be great. But I'd say my enthusiasm and confidence is probably at a 7 right now, but I'll see yours in the comment section. All right, next question here comes from Brendan, who says, do you think LeBlanc will re-sign? Also, will Kenny Gainwell be ahead of Boston Scott in the depth chart? Not sure about Trayvon LeBlanc, but I do think that Gainwell will be ahead of Boston Scott. I like Gainwell as RB2, honestly. And that's not because I don't like Boston Scott. I think we all appreciate Boston Scott. I think he has a roster spot here. I'd cut Jordan Howard over cutting Boston Scott, if I was being honest right now. But Gainwell's upside to me is a lot higher. I mean, Gainwell is extremely explosive. I mean, this is a guy who is very much Miles Sanders. Catch the ball out of the backfield and then very explosive and elusive in space, and I think the idea of taking him in the 5th round was, one, a steal, and two, made a lot of sense in case you were to have an injury similar to what happened with Miles Sanders the past couple of seasons. Hopefully not. It's Sanders' football team in terms of the running back group, but I would like to see Gainwell go ahead and be running back number 2 because he to me is one of the more, or was one of the more explosive running backs in this draft class. The fact it's a 5th round draft pick was, crazy that he fell that far, but better and, more power to Philadelphia for taking him there when they had an option to at number 5. So I like him over Scott, but I think Scott still makes this football team the veteran presence, and honestly, he's earned it the past couple of years, really bailing out Philadelphia in a couple of games, especially against the Giants when they needed to go ahead and get a big win. All you guys decide, though, pick one, Gainwell or Scott. Type G down below for Gainwell, type S down below for Scott. I know, we all love Boston Scott, but I think Gainwell could be a really good running back in the National Football League, and feels like they're trying to rewrite the sins of the Donnell Pumphrey draft pick just a couple of years ago, and this one's actually good, though, with a guy in Kenny G. So I'll go with Gainwell, but I'll leave what you guys think in the comments section. Now, Gainwell's a great pick, but our favorite pick, of course, is Devonta Smith. And those jerseys, yes, we've been talking about them a lot, but they're still up there right now, and that means they haven't sold out yet, which is crazy to me. So pick up your official Devonta Smith NFL Midnight Green Nike jersey at chatsports.com/Devonta. It's the real deal. It's not that knockoff, off-color, weird stitching stuff you get on eBay, right? This is the real deal, the real NFL Nike stuff. Chatsports.com/Devonta. The number 6 is sweet. Pick one up right now because they will be going quickly. The link will be down below in the description box. Okay. Brant Blood says, hey, Thomas, Nick Sirianni said X receivers come in different sizes. I think that we could use Devonta Smith as an X receiver. It sounds crazy. They use T.Y. Hilton as an X in Indy, and he's 5'9 and 180. Yes. Okay, here's the deal. Devonta Smith can play anywhere. They lined him up all over the field in Alabama or at Alabama because he's that great of a wide receiver. I mean, the whole debate with Reagor being a slot guy versus an outside guy last year and how do you utilize him just got kind of tiresome. And maybe Reagor's limited in that aspect. I don't think he is, but maybe he is. Smith is not. And you watch the film on Devonta Smith, the kid can play absolutely anywhere, and so I think they'll put him at the Y, they'll put him at the X, maybe the Z. I mean, they're going to have him all over the football field. And really, this should be Deshaun Jackson 2.0. It's Deshaun Jackson when he was actually good in Philadelphia the first time, except for a Heisman Trophy winner. He's a lot better than Deshaun Jackson coming out of Cal, and I think that the hope here is that you're going to create a guy that you got to eventually double. Like this, the hope is we got a true number one wide receiver who you line up everywhere to go ahead and create mismatches and dominates nickel cornerbacks as well as the number two outside cornerbacks for opposing football teams. I'm just pumped to see him play, honestly, but your question is valid. X's do come in all different sizes, and Smith can play anywhere, which is good. Be Juster Biller. I think maybe it's Justin Biller. I know there's a B in front of that. And Justin Biller says, I think that Trayvon Grimes makes the roster. Do you think we can get anything for J.J. Arcega-Whiteside? I do think Grimes will make the roster. I'd honestly take Grimes over J.J. Arcega-Whiteside right now. Like, I mean, I've held out that Arcega-Whiteside would be good next year for like the past 3 years, and he never turned out to be good. I mean, the guy, he's a bust. Now, if Whiteside plays well in training camp and wins the number 4, number 3, whatever you want to call it, wide receiver job, great. That means we didn't waste a second-round draft pick on him. But I have no high expectations for J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. So I think Trayvon Grimes is going to have his shot. He's big. I mean, that's the target right there. He's in the mold of the J.J. Arcega-Whiteside jump ball, Alshon Jeffrey category. I would take him right now, but we got a long way to go, right? Get to training camp. Grimes was undrafted for a reason, even though he had 9 touchdowns during his time at Florida with Kyle Trask in that offense. But I think right now, based on what J.J. Arcega-Whiteside has done the past couple of years, Grimes has a very legit chance, just like every other receiver. I mean, the only locked positions right now, honestly, are Devonta Smith because he's the first-round draft pick, and Jalen Reagor because he was also a first-round draft pick. The rest can be shuffled around. If Fulgham wants to play like he did from week 4 to 8 last year, then Fulgham should be the number 1 wide receiver alongside Smith. If it's not going to be Fulgham, then Greg Ward owns that spot. If it's not them, then maybe Hightower, maybe Walker. I don't know. All of them are going to be competing except for Smith and Reagor, who 150% will be on this football team. The rest, up in the air. Drop a like if you guys think Trayvon Grimes will make the roster, though, right? He was undrafted, so there's no guarantee. But I would be liking the video right now if I were you because I feel really good about Grimes' chances of making the roster. Maybe a practice squad guy, but you look at the past undrafted free agents who have made the roster, and Greg Ward's one of them, and I think Grimes is a little bit better than him as a prospect coming out of college football. So drop a like if you guys agree. Before we keep going, again, we don't get to answer all the mailbag questions that you guys submit down below, and that's partially because some of you guys who ask questions aren't subscribers, and so make sure you are subscribed and turn the notifications on by hitting the notification bell. That way you're notified when I drop a video asking for mailbag questions. So use the hashtag Eagles for get your next question on our next show, but make sure you guys are subscribed first. That way I can pull your question to go ahead and throw up on the screen. Okay, Rashid says, hope Carson Wentz has a terrible season, but plays the whole season. Do you feel the same way? No, not at all. Like, I'm rooting for Carson Wentz. I liked Carson Wentz. And Carson Wentz got done dirty in Philadelphia. Whether he was bad or not the past couple of years is irrelevant. He really got screwed over in Philadelphia. Let's just say it as it is. Sorry, but it's true. And it was done by Howie Roseman, and it was done by Jeffrey Lurie, and it was maybe done a little bit by Doug Peterson. They couldn't come together for a plan to put good weapons around him. I mean, he really got screwed over. So I'm rooting for him. Plus, as you mentioned, he needs to play the whole year. If he does, you get a second first-round draft pick, and having 2 firsts next year is going to be huge for the rebuild. I mean, Philadelphia can realistically win 7, 8, 9, 10 games this year, depending on how good Jalen Hurts is, use 2 first-round draft picks to address 2 big needs next year, whether it's corner or pass rusher or offensive line or whatever it is, and be really, really young, have really cheap in terms of contracts, and be really, really good going forward into 2022. I mean, I really think that if they can be relevant this year, and then Wentz plays the entire year, and they get a second first-round draft pick next year, I mean, goodness gracious, the sky will be the limit. Let's just say that. The sky will be the limit in Philadelphia, and so I'm rooting for him. I am not rooting against him, because, again, I guess the thought process is here, if he plays bad, then it justifies letting him go, but we've seen Carson Wentz play good, so he had a regression. Whether it's Wentz's fault or not, I hope Wentz has the best year of his career and takes the Colts to the playoffs, and because, again, you don't have to see the Colts till the Super Bowl, so not that big a deal. Last one here. Jay says, bro, I love your videos, but you actually sound just like Howie Roseman. Okay. There's a lot of comparisons you guys have for me. I get Ben Shapiro a lot because of my voice and the way that I talk. I have gotten Howie Roseman, though, a couple of times as well. I guess that means I have a squeaky voice. Is that what we're saying right now here, Jay? It's fine. I wish I was Howie Roseman. I think a lot of you guys would agree, right? I think I could do a little bit better job than Howie Roseman did, except for the Devonta Smith trade-up. I'm glad that Howie Roseman did that. That was big going forward. But I wish I was. I would make a lot more money if I was Howie Roseman, and he gets paid a lot to be very mediocre, and so what are you going to do? But I appreciate all the comparisons. I mean, every single day, I scroll through the comments, and you guys are giving me comparisons to other squeaky voice celebrities out there. So, I guess I'll take it as a compliment, and I appreciate it. All right. Again, hashtag Eagles down below in the comment section. If you guys want to get in on our mailbag video next week, because we're going to keep doing these as we always do at the end of the week, into the weekend, and that way you guys can get your questions answered. I can't answer all of them. We run out of time, but eventually, I'm sure if you keep using the hashtag Eagles, I will answer your mailbag question as long as it is a good one. Ultimately, for today here on Philadelphia Eagles Now. Again, make sure you guys turn those notification bells on for all of our latest Eagle videos going forward, and make sure you guys are subscribed. Hope you have a good rest of your weekend. We'll see you guys in the next video coming up on Monday, and we'll jump back into all the latest over the weekend Eagles news and rumors. Again, for the channel, I'm Thomas Mott, signing off for the rest of your day.